mind on this Monday, Yifat? How are you?
I'm fantastic. I did a meditation this morning. I was like, shit, let's start the week with like a good mind brain thingy. And I had a good client session, and I'm like, okay, now I'm with you, and this is awesome. So what about you? What's going on with you? Why are you losing your mind?
Well, so first of all, I mean, it's all stuff that this is just our current situation, and it's Monday, right? So I had a really good weekend where I've been working so hard lately that this weekend I was like, you know what? I'm going to spend more time outside. I'm going
There
to
you
work on my
go.
yard. I did that Saturday, and then Sunday I was like, all right, I did that. And so now Sunday, I was like, I'm going to have my first lazy Sunday in ages. So I had one meeting in the morning, the late morning, and then I went upstairs and I just like put on movies and I watched movies. And it was awesome. Like this is such a good thing to be reminded of like when you are not making good choices, right? In
Right,
so many different ways in life. Like so let's say like if you keep eating junky food
right,
and you eat junky food and you eat junky food and you eat junky food. And then finally you're like, I do not feel well. I need to stop this. And you stop eating junky food for a good, let's say a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then you finally have like a cheat day, right?
right.
And you go back and you eat that junky food. And that junky food is like the greatest,
Thing ever.
right? And you go, oh my God. Like, so I had the same, that's like, it's not the food, it's the experience, right?
Right.
I had the same experience yesterday where I have not had a lazy Sunday in over a month. I've been working every Sunday. And so yesterday when I had a I was like, oh my God. Like, it's the same, like this is so amazing. And now I'm like, okay, so like the big key is don't do it again, right? Like don't turn right
Right,
around and do it again
right,
because it won't be as like amazing feeling.
right.
So I did that yesterday though. And then I came back today and it was like, all right, it's Monday, refocus, let's go.
Yeah.
And my internet is shit and like Zoom is giving me problems and I'm like, man, this is not the way to get back into the flow of things. It's just, but I'm
Maybe,
like,
the universe might be saying like, hey, Paul, maybe you need a Monday off.
no, no.
Just do it. Just do it. It's not working anyway. Why fight it? Go with the flow.
Like my internet, I did a speed test at one point. My internet was at 60 megabytes per second on my download speed.
I
I
know.
was like, what's that? Like dial up? You know,
Right?
it's fixed now. Hopefully it stays fixed while I'm
You
hanging
were
out with
like,
you.
hey,
Then, so let me tell you. So here's my last confession. Okay.
please do.
So then being not in like work mode, I almost missed this meeting with you because since I got out of my flow of things and we don't meet on the weekends, I got in a car and was going to
Oh my
town
God.
to do my grocery shopping. Yeah, when you texted me and you were like, hop on in. And I was like, son of a
Shit.
I turned around and I came back. Luckily I hadn't made it too far and I got back here in time to get on you. I was like, oh
But it's on
man.
your calendar, man.
I know. Well, that's a funny thing. Is like, so again, there's another thing. I used to be really good about using a planner every day, and then I stopped because I was working on stuff so much. I was like, I don't need this planner. I'm here all the time, and I got my calendar online, and then I stopped. And then this morning I pulled it out again, but it wasn't back in the swing of putting everything into it. So I started that this morning.
So happy Monday.
So happy, so happy Monday.
Happy
What'd you do over
Monday. This
How
is
was your
great.
weekend?
So what we're talking about today is how to stop Zoom bombing. And this is a hot topic right now because a lot of people are jumping into Zoom, and there are hackers that are basically taking over your Zoom calls and share their screen and show obscenity. And then they also chit chat in the chat in Zoom, and then obscenity and stuff like that. So that's what we're talking about today. There's a lot of articles out there on how to do this. The one thing that we are talking about that is different is that we're talking about Zoom bombing in live streaming. So if you're running your meetings in Zoom privately with your family, with your clients, you can password protect it. You can use different URLs. But what do you do when you go live with Zoom on YouTube or on YouTube or Facebook? And then how do you deal with Zoom bombing? So that's what I want to talk about today. And it's important to notice. So people are actually watching our stuff, which thank you guys for watching and commenting and interacting. This is fantastic. And we're pissing some people off. So
We are?
We are. I think we are getting to the point where we're like, I need to come in and comment. Yay. So I love it. And so
we're not trying to make anyone mad. If people are getting mad, then that's maybe says a little bit more about them than us. We're not, come on now.
Right? So
Come
someone left me, so when you're coming to viralconnectivity.com/live, you're going to see a few things. One, you are going to see this show on it. Then when we're not live, there's a tab that you can watch all the replays and get access to that because we have really great content out there. So you can access that. And then we have a tab for resources. Now below the video, there's a button to join us live today on our calls when we're live. And below that, there are comments. But below on the right side, there is a chat feature where you can start talking to me if I'm online. And so yesterday, someone left a message and said, it was very pissed off, and he said, we were talking about Zoom and StreamYard. If you guys remember, we were comparing.
Oh, yeah, last week.
Right?
Yeah.
So we were comparing both of them, and someone came in and said, this is completely inaccurate. StreamYard will not host private meetings, nor does it have the power of managing webinars. Yeah, it does in a way if you do it right. It is strictly a streaming platform. It's apples and oranges. Please do not promote this thing as a replacement to GoToMeeting or to Zoom or the rest of the meeting webinars. So other platforms will handle unlimited participants. I do not work for any of them. But you need to differentiate between a streaming platform and a webinar platform. So to answer this, Mr. Stranger, who did not leave his name, then I know it's really weird. It's like, who am I talking to?
Angry butthurt anonymous person.
I know, right? Stranger you who is watching us on the internet, thank you for taking the time to actually post and let us know what you think. Because maybe
that's true.
Right? There are a lot of people out there who might be like, she's wrong. This is not a good comparison. So let's dive into that for a second. You're right in that Zoom has other options of running webinars and running meetings with more participants. You can do the same thing on StreamYard, even though you can't have 1 billion people on it, only 6 in StreamYard, but you can still run a meeting without streaming it. At the same time, you can stream a private meeting with Zoom by just clicking stream on Facebook or stream on YouTube. So they're kind of like,
they're not apples and oranges. They're more like different kinds of an apple.
There you go. Right? Yeah. They're different kinds of an apple.
I think that's fair.
And a lot of people are now looking at streaming. What'd you say?
I said, come on, fair. Like, just be fair. This is another thing. Like, I'm telling you, I'm not in the mood for this today. I've had a rough start to my day. I'm like, you can, like, be nice when you come on, or you catch Paul on a day where Paul's not feeling like being nice. Like, everyone gets so outraged so easily. Right? Like, you instead of asking a clarifying question or take it to just get on and be like, you're inaccurate. Like, what? It's always like, yeah. Like, how's that help people?
Yeah. And it's like, and you don't sound smarter. I mean, you're right. There are differences between the two, but not in the context that we're talking about it. We were talking about how do you take your business and stream with it. And you can stream both with StreamYard and with Zoom. So it's not apples and oranges. It's like different functions of the same thing of what you can do. Did you know, for example, the Duo app with that Google has that allows you to kind of like FaceTime with people?
Yep.
Even though Duo is 2, right? You can still do a conference with four people or more on this little app. So,
I did not know that.
Yeah. So we meet with my family, like we're going to do Passover Seder, and you can have 4 people on it conversing. So can you stream? No. Can you cast? No. Can you have it on your computer? No. But you can still have meetings. So would you say that Duo and Zoom are the same thing? No. But there are certain functionalities that you can do with both of them depending on what the outcome that you want is, right? So that is the thing. So Ken Gozo says, hey, Paul. So, hey, Paul.
Ken's a great guy. This is another thing where, like, I have never met Ken Guzzo in person. I was hoping to meet him in person at a hypnotist convention this year, which is still technically on the calendar. But if things don't get better, could get canceled. And, I will not meet him in person, but we can do things like this. So.
Exactly. Right. And Claire says, hi, Claire. Claire, you can also hop in and actually talk to us in person. And we have a few people watching us on Twitter. Guys, if you're interested, hop on in, say hi. Miraj is saying boomers are funny, hackers, LOL. I'm like, I don't know. How to stop Zoom bombing? Stop using Zoom.
That's pretty good. So, so the other day when this really started to come out in the media, this is another thing that is kind of a like trigger thing for me, is the media just needs to make everything so dramatic, right? So one of my friends on Facebook on Thursday, I think it was Thursday or Friday, shares this, it was like a major publication. It was like New York Times or Washington Post. And it was this article saying that people had invented a new internet behavior and they were talking about Zoom bombing. And I was like, okay, first of all, this is not a new internet behavior. This is trolling. Trolling has been around for a long time. It's going to keep being around. Yeah. I'm like, why do they feel the need to do that? Like, this is trolling. And people were trolling. And I wrote this on my friend's post. I wrote, first of all, this is not new. Like, back when we were 9 years ago, when Google Plus came out and they had Hangouts, I remember being in Hangouts where people would come in and troll. And back then, the easiest way to troll was in a Hangout, you could turn anyone who was in the meeting, could click their microphone on and off.
Right.
And so, like, I had a guy one day come into my Hangout that I was hosting, and when I would get talking and I would get into a flow, he was smart. He was a smart troll. He would wait until I was, like, really getting into it, and then he would just click my microphone off. And I'd be talking, and then eventually I'd see people's faces, and they'd be kind of, like, giggling or being like, hey. And he had shut me off. And then I'd go, oh, and I'd turn. Well, first, you don't even know who's doing it. Right. So you think maybe someone just did it on accident, right?
Right.
Turn your microphone back on, and then he'd wait, and you get going and going again, and then he'd click you off again. Like, this is trolling.
Yeah. Yeah, it's totally trolling. And what's weird about Zoom, though, is that they actually build bots that do that. So that, I think, is a little bit of a different behavior. Whereas before you had to personally come into the Hangout and, be sitting there and muting and annoying people. Now it's kind of like, well, let me just build a bot that does that. So a lot of people are saying Zoom sucks. It's not good. It's bad. So here it is, guys. First of all, it's not. Like, nothing is perfect in this world. There's always tech problem. GoToMeetings had tech problem. Google Hangouts had tech problem. Cisco, Facebook went down one day. Instagram goes down. Like, there's always tech issues. So it's not like, ooh, this thing sucks and we should never use it again because let's find a replacement. So that's the first thing. If you think that there is like a magic thing out there, there is. You can't use it right now. It's face-to-face meeting. But aside of that, right? There's always going to be a tech problem.
Right.
So
and even the term, the hacking thing, right? When you said hacking, this is probably why someone made sort of a little snarky thing about okay, boomer is it's not even hacking the way you really think of it, right? Like, in order to, it's such a simple hack. They work on 3364, 10-digit number. Your meeting works on a 10-digit number. So it's like just random dialing and like pranking a random person on the phone. People can just sit there and type in numbers until they get lucky and get one that's an actual active meeting. And it's not like they have to like get their computer out and hack you. It's so much simpler than that, really.
Yeah. And And we're all at home and everybody's bored, and the stuff that people do when they're bored is mind-blowing. Right? From like this silly, like this guy, have you seen it? He created a little video where, you know, all these things that can like drop, what do you call those little chain things where you draw, you set up a domino thing and it starts falling, and there are books that fall, and then all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. They call it, lay term is a mousetrap. But there's a Rube Goldberg machine.
Thank you. That's why you need an English major. So someone did that with toilet paper. And I'm like, really? And like the whole thing, it started with a toilet paper and it's moving, you know, and a bunch of toilet papers are falling and some books are falling. And then, you know, on the toilet paper, he wrote stay at home. And by the end of it, it kind of like pops a hand sanitizer. But that's how bored people are. It's like,
that's pretty cool.
It's really impressive, which to me, it's kind of like, how do you know it's going to work when you film it? Like, or how many takes did it take before it actually worked right? But it's amazing. It's like you have all this time at home. Some people are baking. Some people are building these things. Some people troll. So that's what we're talking about today. How do you do that? How do you prevent Zoom bombing when you are going live? Because if you're not live, then you can have it password protected, and you can have private meetings that are not open to everybody, and you can protect it that way, just sharing the information with the few people that need to be there, having a different name for every different meeting, so it's not the same URL over and over again. But what do you do when it's live? Yeah, go ahead.
Yifat, let me ask you a question, because I'm a little confused by the language you're using. You keep saying if you don't have it live, but like, but the whole purpose of Zoom is to have live meetings. So if I do a password protected live meeting with Zoom, I am still having a live meeting, right? Like, I don't quite get what you're differentiating.
So when you're not streaming live, when you are not streaming, yes, when you're not streaming to Facebook or to YouTube, when you're having a private meeting live in, you know, real time.
Well, wait though, right now we're streaming live to multiple platforms. And can't we do that in a way that people can't just jump in and bother us?
So this is how I'm going to talk about doing this. Right.
All right. Yes. This is great.
Let's talk about this.
So you're welcome. I'm setting you up.
There you go. So this is how you do it. So I want to kind of like preface a little bit before. We have a system in place in my company, in Viral Connectivity, where we are streaming live to all locations in real time, and you guys can come in and interact with us in real time as we'll do today, because Stuart is here, when other people are coming in. So anyone who's watching us right now can come onto viralconnectivity.com/live and join our meeting and be part of this conversation. If you want, you can continue commenting and typing. Mike is here and Michelle Patterson is watching us. Hey, but if you want to be a part of the conversation, you can do that by going to this URL. This past Friday, I was with a client of mine that did not want to follow the system and change things around to fit her own schedule and the way she wants to things to happen. And so we got Zoom bombed. For the first time in 10 years that ever happened to me. And I was like, oh, wow. And this is what we did wrong. Yes, Mike Steffen says restrict video sharing. But yes, so this is what we did wrong. In my 10 years of hosting live streaming shows like this with audience engagement, we even had 500 participants at the same time. Never had we had this problem, ever. Why? Because there's a system that you follow. We changed the system, we got photobombed. So here's how you lock your Zoom meeting so that you don't get Zoom bombed during live meeting when you are streaming live. First of all, like Mike said, restrict video desktop sharing. Restrict sharing completely. So no one except the host can share their screen. That's the first thing, because what they do, they don't participate or do anything. They just share the screen and then they show nudity. So prevent them from that. Second thing is that you want to make sure that nobody can turn on their microphone without your permission. Zoom doesn't have a feature that allows you to turn everybody's video off yet. I wish they did, because that would be fantastic. And you can control who's showing and who isn't showing. You can't do that. But when you're streaming live, no one will see all the videos in Zoom if you're not sharing all the videos. So make sure that the only person that people are seeing live is you and the person you're talking to that you vetted, right? Everybody else is kind of like in their own little corner until you bring them on the screen. So we talked about...
Wait, so I just want to clarify. I want to help you clarify. So if you were running the most basic level of Zoom, right, the simple way you would do that, right, would be you would pin your own video so that you're the only thing that's showing, and you would just pin and unpin yourself and the person you want focus to go to beside yourself so that nobody could jump with their microphone or make their video appear, right?
Right. And so the challenge with that, two challenges. One, so remember, we're talking about live streaming, right? Everything that happens inside Zoom, the world outside doesn't necessarily see. The people in Zoom see that, but people outside don't see it. So if you happen to have someone who is jumping into Zoom and expose themselves, then people outside on the stream will not see it. Hopefully that's a deterrent for people because they're like, oh, I'm not getting the fame that I wanted. But the people inside Zoom will see it. Right now, there's no way for you to turn off video, like I said. So the only thing that you can do is remove them from the group Zoom, right? And so you need to set up your settings in Zoom so that once you remove someone, they cannot come back. That was another one of my mistakes. I would kick them out and they'll come back. So make it so that people cannot unmute themselves. People can not share their screen. And if you remove them, they cannot come back. And the last thing, that is the biggest mistake that we made because we did not follow the system. Don't share the link to Zoom on social, where everybody can just click and jump into Zoom. Instead, do what we're doing, which is you have to come to a website. And on the website, you have to click a button, and that's when you can come to join the meeting. And what happens is it's too much of a work, right? The bots cannot do that. The bots cannot click the link, come to the website, find the button, click the button, join the meeting. They're just running. They're running automatically. So
I still can't believe people are building bots to do. I mean, I didn't even know that until you said it today. I thought it was all just
bored people.
Going through the trouble themselves. Yeah.
That's how it's really amazing. Like one of my friends was telling me, look, all the goodness in people is coming out right now. And I'm like, I think your real nature is coming out right now. If you're, if you're an annoying person, then you find way to annoy people. Right? I find that I can't say a-hole because YouTube tracks it and then they're like diminish my thing. So our video with Eric that we did, and we're talking about why you should tell people to, give them permission to call you an a-hole.
Oh, yeah.
Diminished in YouTube because you can't say that word again. This is CBS, right? We're on TV right now. We can't use words.
So crazy.
Right? But so if you're a bad person, or not a bad person, but someone who's just like want to poke and annoy people, then that's what comes out during these Corona times when you're at home by yourself and you're like, let me build something to hack. If you're a good person, then you're sharing and supporting and helping. So that's it. So if you guys want to if you want to use Zoom for streaming, then know that you need to lock your shit down and don't let people do whatever they want out there. And the way you lock it down, put people in a waiting room and let them in one by one if you want to. Don't let them unmute themselves. You're the one choosing who to unmute. Prevent screen sharing from everybody, and don't share the link publicly. Share it on your website so that people have to come to your website and from there click and engage. Or don't use Zoom. Use something else. So these are the ways where you can prevent yourself from hopefully getting Zoom bombing. And if someone does something, unprofessional inside Zoom, hopefully the 10 people on your Zoom are not scarred for life. You just remove that person and then it comes back to normal. But online, nobody knows that happened. And if they see that you're not streaming them live, they can share the screen. Hopefully, that takes away some of the fun of photobombing a private meeting. So does that answer everybody's questions? What do you think?
I think you got it.
I think we got it. And then Stuart is here, wants to say something. So Stuart, he cannot unmute himself. So I'm gonna unmute you. See, that's how we're protecting our stuff. Hey, Stuart.
And you've done that for a lot of years, Yifat.
I have.
You remember when Sarah Hill first started her TV show where she was sharing us live on her TV show? Mike,
Yes. Yeah.
that was helping her from England. I can't
Right.
say his last name right now.
I don't remember.
But he and Sarah took 30 days of testing people out to find 10 that they would trust to come into the meeting.
Yep.
And that was their initial group. So part of it is getting to know names and stuff. But part of the reaction you're getting is that news story that was out. The one you're talking about was about Zoom bombing. That was down late in the story. The
Yeah.
one I think people picked up on was the U.S. government, Department of Defense or somebody, I don't remember who, told their entire organization they could not use Zoom because Zoom accidentally, in trying to get bandwidth, picked up a telephone line, for lack of a better word, a broadband line in China,
Okay.
which then, there was a security issue that came up. And so they banned Zoom from all that. And Zoom came out immediately inside the story and said, here's the fixes we're putting in place.
Right.
Part of which is what you were talking about is giving more control to the hosts and Zooming taking responsibility for having screwed up.
Yep. They do.
But, they're a very straight up organized company and people think they do things like us. Okay.
What do you mean?
I've used Zoom, you've used Zoom,
Right.
and frankly, you use any language you want. We are not on broadcast television. To hell with them. But what they were talking about was they were using it for apparently, I can't believe they'd be using it for classified briefings, but they were doing something like that. But there's universities all over the world,
Right.
hospitals that have surgeries that are supervised by doctors in the Southern California for some poor guy in Indonesia that doesn't have the right brain surgeon within 1,000
Right.
miles.
Which we
And-
wanted to do with Google Glass, but
Yes.
thanks, Google.
Yes. Well, you remember, I don't know if you remember the graphic I made once for someone who I was trying to get them to set up a Google Plus network because we could take our URLs and paste them into any WordPress site. And we could have linked up, you want to have 100 broadcast locations, be a good promoter.
Yeah.
Probably you could do that with this once you got your YouTube URL. But anyway, that was my whole point, was I think a lot of the objections you're hearing isn't because of the personal interaction. It was this comment by the U.S. government. This is an insecure organization. We do not want to broadcast them. And
Yeah.
I believe that headline will change again when Zoom implements some stuff. And I have no fear of Zoom whatsoever. By the way, I don't think you can Zoom bomb into a totally private meeting.
No, so that's why we're talking about, while you're streaming. So while you're streaming, how do you protect yourself from getting
Okay, I
Zoom bombed?
misunderstood what you said at one point, and that's why I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah.
I didn't think that if you had something locked down and it was you and your family or a
Yeah, no.
client and you're recording,
Right. No. Just when you're going live. And so that's important. There's a Photon here on Twitter that it really doesn't like Zoom, and Zoom should not be taken seriously. Never use it for classified meetings. He's not a fan of Google either. So here's the thing, right? Pick one, whatever you want. And if you don't like any of them, go develop your own. Develop your own, love it, make it the most secure, and then share it with the world, and everybody will love you for it. Maybe.
Well, the bottom line is Zoom's used by hundreds of millions, not
Yeah.
hundreds of millions, but by millions and millions and millions of universities all over the world, including University of Arizona, where I'm at.
Yeah.
The kids were telling me now that they were getting booted back home, and a lot of them didn't want to leave and stayed in Tucson because they felt it was a lot safer than going home to New York City. Their classes, a lot of them are on Zoom, because the teachers could pick up on it reasonably easily and still have the ability to record the class and make it replayable, etc. Okay, now I'll shut up and get off here. But
they're amazing. Yeah, thanks for coming on. And I love that you come on and, you have some experience in cyber hacking and all that stuff. So a lot of people...
Well, by the way, I did want to show off about one thing.
Yeah.
You've never seen this hat before. And you see all that up there, all those dark spots and everything? Those are sweat stains. This is my working hat when I was working off the back of a horse. And this is a custom hat. And if you think that paying a lot of money for a cowboy paying a lot of money for a hat doesn't come in handy and isn't useful, I had this hat made in 1993.
Wow.
And if I were to get on the back of a horse and go chase a cow today, this would still be my working hat. So
that's amazing.
I've never worn this on. I almost came on without a hat, but I figured you'd faint.
We're not used to seeing you without a hat, so it's all good.
Hey, Paul, good to hear you talking and keeping her on her toes as well. Good
Thank
for you,
sir. Thank you. I think what Stuart brings up is Stuart's always got a good perspective on stuff. And there's two things. Number one, Stuart talking about how many people are out using this stuff. He's right. And the problem that comes with it, though, is I don't know why, but when he said it, it made me think of that movie Men in Black, where Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones are in the car, and Will Smith's like, "What's this?" And he points at the red button and he goes, "Don't touch that button." And you go, like, why would you let him be in the car without teaching him what the car does? And that's the same thing. Like, you had all these people who real quick were like, we'll use Zoom. But there was no like, here's what Zoom does.
Right.
And so you end up getting people using these platforms at their most basic level, not knowing that there's more functionality there. And then by not knowing and not taking advantage of it, they have these problems. The other thing that, again, my slightly more sensitive self today is this thing of like always looking to point out why things aren't perfect.
Right.
Like, if you're paying attention, Zoom has had security issues before. So's Apple, so's Microsoft, so's Yahoo. Like if all we're going to do is sit around and get mad because stuff isn't perfect, then you're just not contributing to anything like that way. Like if you're sitting around and your energy is constantly like, how can I get pissed and point out that stuff isn't perfect, then I have no desire to hang around with you or to have you in my sphere of influence and social, circle. Like there's just no value there.
What's her name? Brene Brown, I believe, said that she was talking about the men in the arena, right? And so if you're just sitting on the sidelines, then you can have no say about, being in the arena, actually fighting the fight. You have your opinions, great. But I want to be surrounded with the people in the arena who actually, step in and take a stand and fight the fight and have the experience of what it's like, and not the one who's sitting on the sideline just giving their, unexperienced opinions. So hopefully that helps. We have someone on Twitch that says, "Do you have a question? Ask away." Charles says, "Hey, Paul." Charles Crenshaw says, "Hey,
Charles
Paul."
Crenshaw is one of the coolest people on the planet, Yifat. We got to have him on someday. Charles Crenshaw as master meditator, hypnotist, EFT practitioner, trained with a guru in the Himalayas. I mean, cool dude.
Cool dude. Hop on in here. viralconnectivity.com/live. Come say hi. After all that introduction, you have to show up. And then Heather Bates says, she's asking, do I know anything about Instagram? Probably not what you want me to know. So ask your question. If I know, I will share it. And if I don't know, I know people who do know.
That's like, I know what Instagram is.
Right?
Like,
And I share some picture. I got banned. One of my profile got banned from Instagram because my site got hacked. And I was actually really sitting there going like, should I fight to get this back on? Is there value in this? Should I just switch to another one? And I was like, I don't know. Not, I think TikTok might be better for me to do stuff on than Instagram. But, we're streaming everywhere on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and on our website. And then we are showing up in search for our terms. Do I really need Instagram? I don't know. It's a good question. But ask your question, and maybe I know someone who can help you with that. Maybe Paul can help you with that.
I'm not a big Instagrammer either. I think Instagram does some cool things, but as a small business person, I think it's mostly an aspirational platform that tends to serve as like, almost like it plays to people who want vanity numbers more. And certainly there are people who are doing cool things there that are not doing that. But I feel like it's not the first, you got to kind of work around the existing culture. So I have an Instagram, but I don't really do much with it.
Yeah, me neither. Charles is asking, can I join this other than chat? Yes, you can. See this website right here that's popping up, viralconnectivity.com live. Just go there right underneath the video. You will see a button that brings you into our conversation and we'll say hi. Photon on Twitter. Thanks for watching us for so long. So he says, how would you fix Zoom? Does it have a way for host to connect to client without an ID? So no, because you have to have, I think you know much about the internet, you have to have some kind of an ID to connect two things together, right? In an email, you have to have your email and their email. In a phone call, you have to have their number and another number. You have to have two IDs of some sort that connect together to create a conversation. So you have to have an ID in Zoom as well. There's no going around it. How would I fix it? I don't know what I need to be fixing. I think the only thing that's kind of missing for me is preventing people from showing their video. After that, I think it's probably working pretty well, because if you can't share your video, you can't unmute yourself, and you can't share the screen unless I give you the option to do that, you can't photobomb. Or you can't Zoom bomb. I keep saying photobomb. You can't Zoom bomb my live streams, and I'm totally fine with that. So that's it. I think we are good.
We're out of time.
We're out of time. It says true, but people don't need to see the ID. That's why you can password protect it, right? And you can change fucking Israeli accent. You can change the ID. I don't like too many You can change that by giving a different name, right? Or changing the numbers. You can name your meeting. So just create a new meeting for a new thing that you want. And then if someone hacked your first one, they probably don't know about the other one. And Jessica says, great to learn about your business. Yes, if you want to learn more, viralconnectivity.com. Hop on in, ask us questions. It's fantastic. Tomorrow, we are going to talk about a retail business, how they took the retail business online. And it's not your average retail business. It's laser. And what's the other one? Facelift. Stuff that actually has to be done in place. Laser.
Not that kind
Not
of laser?
that kind of laser.
Aww.
I know.
I want a
man.
pew, pew, pew laser. That'd be awesome.
No, it's the zzz laser. That kind of laser. Oh, look at here. So
Now Charles is in. We're all done. And now, see, this is,
no, he doesn't.
way to go, Charles.
Yeah, he came in there. Here we are. So tomorrow we are talking about how a business that has to do their stuff in place, retail, like someone has to walk in to get lasered, how did they adapt and pivot? And you can do that tomorrow when you'd be like, you're running a laser business. So,
All I wanted was a freaking laser. There it is.
and a place to run and play with it, right? Not from the comfort of your home.
I'm in case you didn't notice, a little punchy on Monday. I'm going to be on my better behavior tomorrow, and especially while it's having a guest. And we hope you come back and join us.
Yes, and let's just say hi to Charles.
There he is. Yeah, bring him.
Yeah,
You
just
put his headset on. You know he's serious when you put his headset on.
hi, Charles.
Yeah, buddy. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing good.
It is good to see you. Thank you for hopping over and actually coming on camera and saying hi. So, have you watched us from the beginning?
No, I just got online checking a post I was going to make, and I saw this. I've tapped into your show here before, but I haven't ever stopped. And the thing said, say hi to Paul. And I'm kind of going, oh, I thought it was recorded. I was going to say, well, hey, Paul. and then he's saying, oh, this guy. And I'm going, oh, I didn't know I was. Anyhow.
Now you know. And if you don't know, now you know.
Well, see, now I'm interested in my man with the cowboy hat who does the cyber stuff because my childhood friend, he's a retired Air Force, and he does cyber security stuff for the government in South Carolina, and he works for the National Guard or whatever. So I'm pretty sure you all have some things in common. Anyhow, you all were signing off. I didn't mean to.
You're totally fine. We are signing off. Come on tomorrow at 1 p.m. Every day, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. We are here to say hi and talk about things that can help you guys move the needle in your business a little bit to the not this side, right? Like this side.
It depends on which side you have.
That's right.
So coming out tomorrow, 1 p.m. we talk about how retail is going digital. Same place, same time. viralconnectivity.com/live. Bye. And we should